Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be servicing my BMW 3 Series. There are going to be different parts in this video covering as much information as possible for a full DIY service. The only part you're not going to see in this video is the replacement of the fuel filter, which I did last summer, so BMW recommends it for every 2 years, so I'm going to skip that. But there are going to be some parts that you wouldn't get in a mechanic or dealerships when you take your car to a service. This year I switched from BMW's 1 litre bottle to 20 litre for being more cost efficient. So if you divide it by 4, you pay £25 per 5 litre, which you can store it for a few years easily, as you are not introducing any air into it when you take out the oil. And this is the BMW's price for full service. However, I'm skeptical about what the list says here. If you look at it closely, all the filters are replaced by genuine BMW parts, but engine oil is drained and refilled with BMW approved oil. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I've got an original BMW oil, not BMW approved oil, so I don't understand what this BMW approved oil means. And as for the filters, they all come from a company called Mahle, not original BMW products. In 2014, BMW and Mahle got into partnership for certain parts, but they're not original BMW equipment or parts that they use in their servicing. So you still don't get what you want even if you pay for the asking price for the servicing. Long story short, this is one of the reasons I carry out my own service on my car. I also recommend you to go on the About page on my YouTube channel to see the reason why I started this channel in the first place. Our servicing started with the oil filter. As you can see, diesel cars always turn into black even if you drive them a few miles after replacing the oil, due to the EGR system being available in your car, sending the soot and some exhaust gases back into the engine. Regardless of my annual mileage on the car, I carry out this service once every summer to be on the safe side. Changing the oil filter is one of the easiest things in your car. After lubricating the oil ring, we are going to place it and drain the oil pan. In some BMWs you may see two blue dots on your oil filter cap and the oil housing, so they need to match when you tighten them. But if you can't see them, don't worry, it's going to be around 25 Newton meters of tightness. And same tightness applies to the sun plug when you drain the oil using 17mm socket. After 6,000 miles, you will see the color of my oil being black, which is not surprising. As I said, diesel car engine oil turn into black color even after 10 miles of driving. So I lowered the car at this point, and then half a liter of clean oil is going to wash the residue out of the oil pan. And for the very first time, I'm going to flush my engine by using clean engine oil, around 4.2 litres. You don't get to see the first 2 litres, unfortunately camera was on pause, but 4.2 litre engine oil, and I'm going to run the car for 10-12 minutes just to wash out the residue and remaining oil in the oil cooler. In the meantime, I'm recycling the old oil and take it to the local recycle center once the work is finished. After running the engine at idle speed for about 10-12 minutes, oil color is slightly cleaner, but is still going to be dirty due to the remaining oil in the oil cooler. Rather than using all sorts of additives to flush your engine, I believe clean oil is the best way to keep your engine healthy and in good condition. Final fill up is going to be 4.5 liters exactly, and then we're going to measure the oil once the car is warmed up from both a dipstick and the iDrive oil measurement menu. In my first few servicing, I used to add 5 liters of engine oil, to be honest, but I realized that ISTA Raingold registers it as an excessive oil, which you may not see on your iDrive warning system, but ISTA registers it excessive oil as a fault error code on your computer. Dipstick showed the oil level at just under maximum, which is what I wanted. Next up is going to be a complimentary service to your car. We are going to clean the MAF sensor, which you don't get in a regular servicing in a local mechanic or dealership servicing. 2 T20 screws and a plastic gasket holds your sensor, which is the blue dot, as you can see. If that gets contaminated, the result may be a rough idling, stalling, lack of power and poor acceleration on your engine. It is a good practice to clean your MAF sensor every time you service your car. Next complimentary service on your car is going to be a manifold absolute pressure sensor cleaning. MAP sensor provides the pressure information to the engine's electronic control unit, which then determines the required fuel delivery for perfect combustion. So if it can't read the information properly, that means you're going to get a worse fuel efficiency in your car. Because the sensor is in your intake manifold, it gets all sorts of exhaust gases and soot on itself. Therefore, I started my cleaning with some carb cleaner and then finished up with some mass airflow sensor cleaner, which doesn't leave any residue. Next service is going to be on the air filter. 1 to 3 grommets hold the air box after taking the clean air intake pipe and the silencer housing. You need to lift it up from 3 points, which will release the air box and give you enough space to replace your air filter. Don't be surprised if you don't see any contamination inside the box and on the air filter, because I vacuum cleaned it the other day when I carried out my EGR cleaning, so that's why it looks in good shape, but I'll definitely replace it now. After making sure that the box sits properly, we need to close the clips on 4 sides. Also make sure that the air duct channel and the box meets in the right place and sits properly, and then push the grommets back into their places. Both sensors are ready to be installed. On the MAP sensor, orange sealant around the sensor needs to go inside the manifold properly, so make sure you give it a good push and then do the assembly. And with this last complimentary service, we are done in the engine compartment. We can move into the car. Under footwell, we need to take off 2 10mm bolts to create access to the microfilter. The tray comes down very easily. You need to take off light and 12-volt lighter socket connectors, very easy. This is your heater and air condition blower motor. My one was broken last year, and when I took it to the service they asked for £420, telling me that it was dead. I took it off and brought it into the house. After inspecting it, I gave it a good cleaning and it was back to life. So don't take anybody's word, including mine. Do your research, and I'm sure with the right information and knowledge you'll be able to fix many things on your car. So after taking the microfilter cover, you can see the microfilter itself. It's already dusty and quite dirty. This is again one of my regular service intervals every year. I change it because fresh air means a lot to me. I'm using exactly the same filter as last year's. I've been really happy with it, and the orientation is as in the video, arrows showing towards your engine bay. Gently push it upwards and it should sit freely in the compartment. When you close the cover, you make sure there is a sealant around it which sits properly in place. And then we're done in the footwell area. After sorting the connections, I'm going to take the car for a spin to warm up the engine, and then I'm going to do another oil measurement on the iDrive. iDrive measurement also confirms the level of engine oil with the dipstick on the 4.5 litre of engine oil. Long press on the cluster button is going to bring up your service reset options. Once you find the right one, you need to give it another long press and asking you if you are sure to perform the reset. Another long press is going to start the reset process. And I'm definitely not waiting 15,000 miles or until 2023 to carry out another service on my car. It's going to be exactly the same service next summer. And one last thing before we round up the video, which is going to be the iDrive service history entry. I have a full video about iDrive service history entry on my channel if you want to see more details. All I'm doing is to bring up my old service history on the software and add the new service information onto it. Once you enter all the information there, click on the start button, which is going to restart the iDrive screen, and then add the new service on top of your existing ones. And the new service information is going to show up in your iDrive straight away. And it's time to wrap up this video today. I try to give you as much information as possible. As long as you do your research and gain some knowledge, it is possible to service your car and save a lot of time and money. And remember, no one is going to look after your car better than you do. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.